Right. So, if you guys remember from the last episode, I was hinting at this Halloween themed idea. We're basically, Ricardo and I talk about a Halloween film, or a horror film, I should say, leading up in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
So I thought about it. I was like, okay, what would be really cool? What would be really interesting? And I came up with a pretty nifty idea here. So we're gonna start with this episode. We're gonna start off. I haven't come up with like an actual name for it yet, but basically the premise goes like this. So you have these really popular, famous horror franchises, right? There's the Halloween franchise. There's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's Saw. You have those famous franchises. You have your legion of fans who, the diehard fans who are so dedicated to those films, and who would defend a majority of those films, even though, film nerds like us will watch them and be like, yeah, it's schlocky and it's crap. But, they
Right.
understand where the franchise is coming from, where where the formula is coming from. But, every once in a while, you always have that one film or two or three or whatever, which don't really quite land the mark. But in this case, is more like the black sheep of the franchise.
Yeah.
The odd ducks now,
No, but you just have those kind of weird like confluence of events. Like, okay, so in one case you'll have franchises that'll be really popular. On one end, the fanboys, the general audience will like it, the fanboys will jump on it, and then every sequel, the fanboys will love it, but general audience will turn on it.
Yes.
And then it'll get to the point where it'll switch in a weird way where the general audience might like it a little more, but then the fanboys will absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
Right. And you have movies like that but it's hyped in such a way where the fanboys expected to love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
To me, a classic example is when Freddy vs. Jason happened.
Yes.
I remember a lot of people was hyped to see it, and then a lot of like the supposed hardcore fans hated it. Like,
I'm not surprised by that actually. Like I honestly saw it once. I really need to watch it again.
Yeah, don't need to.
Like,
but
I know. But like, it's one of those so bad it's good kind of movies. Like I know.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's not one that has longevity in my opinion. It's just like, all right, well, the big hype is Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees.
Right.
But then when you see the movies, like, all right, moving along with.
Well,
life.
the thing is, the actual film. I remember a big part of the hype was Kelly Rowland, wasn't it? Like,
yes,
also.
Yes.
I don't know who was out for. It's like what to get black people to watch this. I didn't really get. Was he hyped for that?
I don't know if this is a formula with horror films, like say with Halloween, for example, where you need to have some artists, like some celebrity artists in your film.
Yeah, whoever the big popular musician would have been at the time.
Yeah.
At least who willing to, go out to the way and get our role now. Whoever.
Mm-hmm. But it's a good thing that you mentioned Freddy vs. Jason here, because what I want to actually start off this segment off with is a film that, believe me, and I'm all right. Like, first of all, before I forget, I let me just say this right off the bat. I am not the biggest fan or nerd or know it all when it comes to the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
There's been a few films that I saw, but basically it's like the more popular ones. Like I saw the first one, I saw bits of the second one. Haven't seen the others up to this film that I'm going to talk about here. And then I saw Freddy vs. Jason on cable, saw it, didn't really care for it. And then I saw the intro to the remake of Friday 13th, which I thought was just so incredible, so badass. But in terms of just modernizing the formula, but then from there, it just got really lethargic and boring. I just didn't care. But this one film, though, from what I know, this is the one that fans tend to write off. Of course, I'm talking about 2001's Jason X.
Right.
Yeah, even if you are a diehard fan of Friday 13th, yeah, you cannot watch me. You cannot watch a true critic and say, yeah, this was actually good, though. There was something good about it. No. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't in good conscience remember anybody defending Jason X.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Were there anybody that really defended this
I
show?
don't remember. I remember it just being one of those so bad it's good, even because the whole point is that they went in space.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's like so not Jason. And he had a big metal mask this time and he was resurrected. I was like, yeah, none of it worked or made sense. It was just this big dumb sci-fi, and they decided, all right, let's figure out a way to get somebody who could be in space, but not really, and they decided to just put them anyway. And a lot of it didn't really work or flow. But whatever.
Yeah.
They did this big time skip, as usual, they had to do that. And it's the future, and Jason in the future for some reason. Like, yeah, but the whole point is that he had to be killing horny teenagers in a cabin.
Exactly.
That is it. It had no like what is all the sci-fi nonsense, whatever.
So yeah, the funny thing is with this movie, like, I actually remember when this movie was advertised, right? Like, this was from New Line Cinema, so they had their own style, they had their own branding of their films now.
Yeah.
This was right around the alley when this was actually like a year before Resident Evil came out, right? And
Right.
it's a funny thing because there is a certain sequence in that I was watching. It's like, why does feeling like Resident Evil? But then I had to remember, oh, this came out in 2001, so it's not so much that; it's more like the Matrix. And but I'll get to that later. But
Right.
really, with this film here, it really borrows heavily from Alien, from Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yes. That's what it felt. A lot of it felt like Alien 4.
Yeah, way too much ripping off of that. It ripped off Alien 1, 2, and even Resurrection. I didn't see
Yep.
any bits of the third one, fortunately, thank God, right? But yeah, boy, I was just curious. I really wanted to see what made this show so bad. Like, I mean, you have this iconic bad guy, even though, let's be real, he's just this guy walking around, this really hulking guy walking around with a machete and wearing
Right.
this hockey mask on.
That's the whole
and
point is that
that's
he's
it,
supposed
really.
to. Yeah, is that he does is a guy who just don't go down, and for some reason he might be able to have the ability to teleport. You're not sure.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if
regenerate for some reason because
Right,
with all
right.
the with
That's
all the
pretty
films
much
he dies
immune
and then
to
he comes
that,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, he's pretty much immune to damage. He'll just take any shit and then move on. I don't know if you're familiar. There's a Jason game out there.
Yes. I
Yes.
saw a few gameplay videos of it online. I love
Yeah,
the concept
you
of it.
could-
I
you could-
believe and you could
right.
is
So
is you
basically
could
it's
only
you
play as
versus-
the killer, right? But you can't
Yeah,
play
you
as
play as you play versus friends as Jason, but you seem to have teleport abilities, and it's kind of hilarious in its own way. Yeah, but
Wow.
that's the idea. It's just so for a lot of people think it's canon that he can actually teleport.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of self-aware now. 'Cause, like, you're looking
Right.
back at this franchise from what? Back in 1980, and you had to ask yourself at a point in time, okay, how could Jason get from point A to point B? Hey, maybe he had
Exactly.
teleportation abilities, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever. It's a game. You could get away with it, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this movie here, Jason X, is that basically New Line Cinema had the rights to this had the rights to the Jason Voorhees, right, the character itself.
Right.
And initially they were setting up to make Freddy vs Jason, but at the moment that concept, or that script I should say, was in development hell. So it's like, all right, we have the character. What do we do with it? Nothing has happened with him since 1993 when they had Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And I actually remember when that movie came out. I was too young to see it, and then I never really cared about the Friday 13 movies anyway, right? It's only later on in my life that I actually checked out the first one. I was like, oh, okay, not bad. I mean, we get to see Kevin Bacon die, a really cool death, but I see where the influence come from. I mean, there's no masterpiece in my opinion, but I see why people love it, right? But anyway, so basically Jason X was just filmed in a way to say, well, all right, we just want to kind of get the ball rolling for Freddy vs. Jason. So let's test this movie out and see what happens. If the fans like it, if they not, whatever. If we get money out of this from the box office, then okay, people still care about this character, and then we could do Freddy vs. Jason, right?
Yeah.
So the story for this is so goddamn ridiculous, but I'll probably spoil a few parts of it. So so in 2008, right, they actually capture Jason, right? He's played by Kane Hodder again. He's captured by the U.S. government. He's held at the Crystal Lake Research Facility, which is like really dread. And they're about to put this guy unfrozen in cryogenesis, cryosleep, if you will, right? And then this doctor comes in, who is played, believe it or not, by David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Director of Videodrome and Scanners and A History of Violence. And Crash, who should know better. But he's in this movie, right? And he's like, no, we can't put him in cryostasis. He has regenerative abilities, so we need to understand and unlock the secret behind all this stuff. So, of course, in true Friday 13 fashion, inexplicably, of course, Jason is alive. He kind of wakes up, starts to kill people, and yes, David gets a machete through his back, straight out his chest. What a way to go out. And there's this one girl, her name is Rowan. She's played by Lexa Doig, I believe that's how you pronounce her name.
Oh yeah. That's
fans of Arrow.
that was Andromeda.
Yeah, she was in Andromeda. She was in Arrow. She used to play Talia Al Ghul.
Yeah.
From season 5, which I actually praised, by the way. So yeah, so she's like the scientist who works in that same facility, and in the process, she ends up freezing the guy in it. She ends up putting him into this room, into this kind of this like chamber, if you will, and he's frozen. But before, sorry, not even frozen, but like as like when he's about to be frozen, I should say, he ends up stabbing her in the back with the machete. So
Yeah.
of course, questions come to mind: how sharp, like what kind of material that machete was made of for him to go through that steel chamber to stab this girl, you know? But anyway, she gets stabbed in the back, and it's too late for her to get out because they have this sort of lock thing going on. So she's trapped there. She's frozen. He's frozen. And then we cut to 2455. That's 445 years later,
Yep.
event of this movie,
Yep.
which had me wondering a couple things. So first off, between the events of Jason Goes to Hell back in '93 to 2008 or whenever when the intro of this thing is, right? Like I don't know when Jason Goes to Hell was set in. I don't know, but you tell me all these years, right? All these years, we didn't see any movies from him. That's fine, but all these years, this guy was just still going around killing people, and it's only
Yeah.
now at this point in time while they capture him.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think I should later.
Right? Right. So basically, it's cut to some years later now, and we have like these. Okay, I had to be careful of how I say this, right? So it's a group of people, right? They seem to be on this expedition, right? And they
Yeah.
happen to stumble upon this
Space
chamber thing.
cases.
Yeah, they happen to stumble onto this chamber. They open it up, wherever, and one of the fellas have his back turned, and then he gets his arm chopped off. But it look real funny though, because Jesus' body is frozen, right? But the machete is up because he has his arm up now. Gives about
Yeah, Space Cases.
yeah.
It's Space Cases. I don't know if you remember that show from Nickelodeon.
Space Cases. Remind me how that went again?
Yeah, it's a really silly sci-fi from Nickelodeon. That show had the same kind of premise with all these kids, borderline kids coming on space and
Right.
investigating a ship.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. I
That's just a quick joke I tried to do.
yeah, right. So, right. So one of the kids, or the space cases, if you will, if you want to call him that, gets his arm sliced off because he had his back turned then because Jason was frozen there. So
Right.
essentially, the professor, the one who calling the shots now, he realized, well, okay, well, we have these two humans from whatever years from, so let's bring him back to our ship, and he basically just trying to make money. So it's like, all right, well, if I send these bodies to the right people, well, in this case, Jason, because they actually tore out Rowan, right? It's like, all right, well,
Right.
we know little to nothing about Jason. We don't know how demented he is, but let's just carry him across because he's actually one of the humans from Earth, because Earth is like polluted now, so like there's an Earth 2 now. But the film, of course, doesn't go into detail about all that stuff because I mean, who cares, right? So while that's going on now, we learn that there are other people in this group. On this ship, in space, and we aren't given any character background. We aren't given anything. We just see characters. They talk a couple of lines. It's like, all right, okay, how many people are on this ship? I don't know. And then to make matters even worse, there's like a military group on the ship too. So like you're wondering, okay, what type of ship is this exactly? So I don't know if it's like like the Nostromo, for example, which was like a cargo ship. I don't know if it's that they trying to hint at, but the point is, you have these students, you have these professors, you have these scientists, and you also have these soldiers on the same ship. What's going on?
Right.
So, of course, as you would expect, they tore out Jason. As soon as he comes out, he's like slicing and dicing people. I won't even go into detail about the story because it just gets more and more nonsensical. There's even a point where, yes, because in the future you have nanotechnology and stuff like that. So, yes, there's a point where Jason is killed, and yes, nanobites get into him, and he
Yep.
becomes, wait for it, Uber Jason. Like,
Mega
if you look
Jason.
at the credits for the film,
Yeah, it's
you
Uber
will
Jason.
see Uber Jason.
Yeah,
there.
it's basically like if you have Shredder and Super Shredder, same thing.
Yeah,
Same bullshit.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, anything would be like, I went into this thing expecting a so bad it's good movie. I mean, it's
Right.
and right off the bat, it's cheesy, it's dumb, but from a film perspective, dude, there's just so much things about it that just don't work. But for one thing, like I said, the characters are just so bland and shallow and generic. Like if you've seen Alien or Aliens, like let's just take Aliens for example. You have the hardened, sergeant, right? The black guy, the assholes and elbows, that guy. You have that character there. And he's played by that dude from oh gosh, I keep forgetting his name. He was in his name is Peter Mensah. He was the guy from 300, the one who got kicked into the well.
Right. Yeah.
Right, who was also in Spartacus and the spin-offs,
Yeah.
right? Him.
I know it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's in this thing too. Okay, well, he's actually the one person that I noticed. Him, David Cronenberg, and it's only later when I realized that Lexa, well, who plays Rowan, that's when I actually remember her from Arrow. But anyway, so yeah, you have this cast that, I don't want to call them nobodies, but you have this cast of people that you never see before, and then the characters themselves you don't care about. It's just like, all right, I just know at some point in time they're gonna get killed, so why invest any time in them anyway? But the thing is, the film itself not even trying enough to give you a reason to care about these characters. So when they die, it's like, oh, they die, okay, whatever. That's a perfect example is the military team. Like, they are introduced, like, say 15-20 minutes into the film, and it's just to say, well, okay, Jason has gone, is running wild in the ship here, so let's try and stop him. And then you see them there, they go in through these, dark rooms, of course, as you've seen in tons of other horror movies, and of course they get picked off one after the other. There's even one scene, I swear, is like Jason was playing Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, from Metal Gear Solid, where he sneaks up behind a guy.
I say no,
like,
Jason.
Like
as I say, Jason is
him in
teleport.
there. Yeah, so like this soldier just kind of like in a dark corridor, right? Once again, by himself, right?
Yeah.
Jason just happened to sneak up from behind him, man, choke him, bring him in, and just kill him, like a real, espionage kind of style, real kind of thing, What else about this show? The CG, boy. The best way to describe the CG, right? Well, it's from New Line Cinema. If you remember the CG from Mortal Kombat, preferably Annihilation, right? Yeah. Is that level of graphics.
Yeah, that level.
But this movie is it came on in 2001. Why are we seeing late
again,
90s graphics?
The thing is, we like to say, here's the thing with CG, once you have a budget, you're alright, even if you don't have the tech, you could still know how to shoot, and a good filmmaker could go around like better. But that's why fucking the first Jurassic Park look better than most films now.
Yeah, because of what they had to use.
Forget the CG part. Like, anyway, whatever.
Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And it's a good thing that you mentioned the budget here, boy, because I'm watching this film, Jen. I'm asking myself, but why does it feel like a low budget movie, like really low budget? And I talk like
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, like even the first film, right? I mean, it didn't have a huge budget, but still, it was shot well, it was lit well, and stuff like that. And where they hide certain things, especially like in the death scenes, okay, cool. But here it's like you had to rely on CG, so you had to create, the architecture of the ship and how the ship looks. The ship looks cheap. The CG itself, like the interior and exterior.
It looks like I don't know if you remember old sci-fi called Lex.
Remember what it's about?
It was like it was an insect ship. It was kind of weird, and then everything was kind of a bunch of sex jokes. It was more like a parody of parody of sci-fi, right. But it was generally like just a bunch of like weird stuff going on. It had everything was insect based in this world. Mm-hmm. And had a bunch of sexy girls in it now. So, but the special effects in it was like notoriously bad.
Oh,
not that bad for television, granted, but still pretty bad.
Right.
It totally reminded me of Lex when watching it. I was like, yeah, this shit look like Lex Rich. Yeah. I remember sitting down in theaters at the time and just pretty much saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the subject of TV, that's another good point that you mentioned here, boy. Because I don't know, boy. Once again, it's from New Line Cinema. But why does this feel like a TV movie or a made-for-TV movie?
Yeah, it's atrocious.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird, too, because for one thing, like, it's New Line Cinema. And I was comparing this to Freddy vs. Jason, which did not let go when it comes to, the language in it, right? The foul language and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one, shockingly, it's tame, though. Like, I only heard, 2 F-bombs in it, but everything else is just like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like,
they had to do that. I think does it have a R rating or a PG rating?
All right. this is actually not a dumb question, right?
But I can't remember.
No, but all of these films are R-rated. They have to be.
Okay, well,
because of the subject matter, it's a guy running around killing people.
No, but that's the thing. Once you like cut things on you see that's the thing with the MPAA. The MPAA is so notoriously hypocritical and corrupt in their own way that you could real BS your way out it and get your PG rating.
All right,
And
I see what you mean. Like with most
right.
PG-13 horrors you see out there today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's supposed to be worse. Like some stuff, like subject matter wise, definitely deserve the R, but because they don't have no F words or no set of blood, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and the next thing too, because you just keep touching on things that just didn't work.
Yeah.
Not as graphic as I expected it to be though. Like
Exactly. That's another thing about it.
There is violence. Don't get me wrong, and there is some blood
Right.
and stuff in it, but not to the point I could say it's overly graphic or gratuitous. Though.
Yeah.
And most times, like sometimes I should say, like in the death scenes, like when a character is about to be killed, they would just cut back to another scene though, like somebody either hearing the scream or somebody in another room just doing something else. It's like, why?
Exactly.
You know, like you have the freedom to have this character kill people in different ways.
When it comes to censorship, you can kind of only judge what is actually on the screen because you can't necessarily infer what the audience going to interpret from this. So that's why you can't really make that case for censorship for something that insinuated as sexual, even though it could be a really sexual movie or a really violent movie or a really disturbing movie on its own grounds.
You're right.
That's kind of the whole thing with cinema and censorship now. This censorship culture kind of don't work and it's totally broken in its own way. I mean, I'm glad we get to talk about that because this movie's like, one more thing about it is one of those movies that really like a perfect example of how censorship is a kind of hot mess when it comes to in American cinema in particular.
Yeah. Now, as you touch on that, now I'm wondering now in retrospect, were the filmmakers trying to make a PG-13 film out of this?
I have to look back at it.
Because you can imagine they will get a bigger audience, but
no,
you had to slap that
R
R because of the nature of the character and the franchise.
And that started sometime in the mid-90s. That whole, we need to like systematically make an attempt to change the movie just to get the PG rating because we know it'll make more money.
Yeah.
Like that very cold utilitarian calculus started sometime in the 90s. So it makes perfect sense that that's what they would do for Jason X.
Right.
But I remember
the thing is, sorry to cut you there, but with these horror franchises, for example, like say Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween, they've never tried to dumb themselves down to be an R. They always try to hold on to the R and be as R-rated as possible, right?
No, but that's the thing. In the case of X, I remember X being really, really marketed long. Like it had a lot of marketing to it. I remember that.
Like I say, I actually remember the trailer for this. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know. Again, if you had to look back at it to see what the rating was, I really remember it. I think it was a PG, if I remember correctly. Because I remember it was a notoriously tame movie. I don't remember it being particularly gory.
Like there's a couple of like probably just like a bit of nudity in it, just a bit.
Right.
But nothing so much to say.
Once you have one F word, that is not an R at all. It's 2 is the R. So I remember correctly.
Well, more than 2. Well, if I remember, I think it's more than 2. Because I know it had a couple of.
I don't know. I think if it's once it's 2, you dies the R, if I remember correctly. But whatever, we can look back at it. That's rules. It's just hard rules. You have to look back. At when they change it.
Right, but you're right though. What else? So there's some real logic holes here. Like things that just don't make any sense. Like case in point, there's one scene where the spaceship going into this mothership, right? The space station, right? Called Solaris. And right there I was thinking, oh, okay, somebody was watching Solaris, probably in film school. Okay, but anyway. The ship kind of it doesn't crash headfirst into it, right? It just kind of brushes past it. But like the bottom of the ship kind of scrapes over the top of the ship now, of the space station, well, Solaris now. Right. As it moves away, Solaris starts to blow up, right? But then you're wondering, okay, but the actual spaceship where all our characters are suffered minor damage. And like, how? But it just crashed past a space station though. Like, and what about the people in the space station? Because we don't see anything. Or we just see just glass flying off into space. And it just looks so cheesy.
Cheap. Yeah,
so cheap. So cheap.
Yeah, cheap, yeah.
But like, and like the running joke is like, now Jason's kill rate has just like skyrocketed though, because you just like literally kill all these people in the ship just because you happen to kill the pilot of the spaceship itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, of course, if you know your alien, yes, the pilot has a cowboy hat on because of course, right? The acting is bland, just right across the map, boy. Even right down to Lexa, who plays Rowan. I mean, she's there. She's trying to be like, okay, I know everything about this guy, but Yeah, why are you here exactly? I mean, every
Yeah, she was never a particularly good actress for me. Frankly, she was good in Andromeda, kind of, not really.
she was
And
alright in Arrow, like a kind of stoic
right, and then
kind of
well, I
thing.
remember she had a little short stint in Stargate that she won, and she was
Oh
just
really?
like
Okay.
really flat. She was really flat in that as well. Yeah, so like I was never a big thing. She always had a good look, and because she's so stable as a sci-fi actress, she always got casted.
Yeah, she
But
has a
yeah,
nice face. So don't get me wrong, but
right, exactly. She's
that's
cute.
yeah.
She's an attractive woman, so you can't really go wrong with that. But that's not the problem. That I don't think she was ever that good of an actress, frankly. So like hearing you saying she flattened this, I was like, oh yeah, right. I do remember her being particularly good anyway. She's
Yeah.
one of those who it's not surprising Korea never really particularly took off, even though she was very attractive. That's like a noticeable pattern in a lot of Asian actresses in the 90s and early 2000s.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember Tira Carrera.
I knew he was gonna mention her.
Perfect example.
Perfect example.
Perfect example.
She's
Hot
always
chick.
like these little appearances. Like I remember her from
Hot
Wayne's
chick.
World, right? Yeah.
Yeah, hot chick, right?
Hot
Hot
chick,
chick, but never take off because she kind of sucks.
that
Kind of
is
sucks
true.
as an actress.
That
Not
actually,
that good.
That's actually true. I will
Yeah.
confess that. Right.
Yeah.
There's a couple more things though before I give a rating. Okay, I mean, why not, right? But I mean, you know, you could. But if you're like a stone cold diehard fan of the Friday 13th franchise, you would tell yourself, but oh gosh, man, I don't go into these shows for a great story and great characters, well, compelling characters. I want to see Jason kill people, cause that's
Right.
fun, right? We want to see a tall, you know, hulking guy kill people because yeah, right. Actually, kind of
Right.
funny when you actually watch the franchise, like
Yeah, when I
it,
see you
that
want to see
one,
this dude kill somebody with a cutlass. That's it.
yeah, and it's how the kills are.
Right.
I could count on one hand, Ricardo, the amount of great death scenes in this film. There's probably one I could say that is genuinely good, genuinely memorable.
The one with the black guy was hilarious.
Oh yes.
Yes.
When he got stabbed, boy,
Yes.
and it's like, you know, that one thing, that one stab is not gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
And then he gets stabbed again. It's like, oh,
And,
okay, that
and just, I mean, the man just
Is
hamming this
that
shit up
line
so much.
though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like who says that, boy?
You
Like
know?
I don't know.
Dialogue, Judd.
That dialogue, and it caught me off guard, because
Yeah.
you know he had to be the tough guy in there. So I
Of
thought it's
course.
like, all right, you bastard or whatever like that. You want to talk to this guy like, what? You think this is enough? This is gonna harm me? Stab again. Oh, okay, that's enough. Like, come on, man. But anyway, the best death, hands down, is the first girl who was doing the autopsy on Jason, right?
Right.
When he wakes up, he grabs her by the back of her head,
Yeah.
shoves her head into this pool of like liquid ice,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
yeah.
smashes it
Smash
afterwards.
the head, yeah. That was badass. Yeah.
That
I remember.
is badass. Oh my god. Everything else after that, well, there's one scene where a soldier got like stabbed and he falls into this gigantic screw. And sometimes I talk about with that screw, but he falls onto the screw, so he's spinning. And yes, you have one of the characters, this female soldier, saying, well, they ask him, what, is he okay? It's like, no, he's screwed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Gotta go with that.
they drop some dumb jokes in this.
Yeah,
There's even one scene which what I saw, I was like, oh, this is Alien Resurrection again. Well, Alien and Alien Resurrection, where one of the characters gets sucked out of this whole, you know, going going outside of the spaceship itself now. I was like, man, this sucks on so many levels. The delivery of that line, the way
Yeah.
how that line was said, this decision of having that line in that movie was just poor. It was just terrible. But anyway,
Yeah.
so about that screw scene, right? This is another thing that's throwing me off about this movie. Like, they go from room to room to room, right? But you never get a sense of the scope of the actual spaceship itself. How big
Right.
is the spaceship? Where are these rooms? How many rooms are there? You know, you're not like you'd see like in the first Alien, for example, where it takes time to show you, all right, this is the boiler room or whatever it was, or this is the med bay, this is that place, blah 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 blah. This is where the mother computer is. Here it's just they go to this room and then they go to that room and then back that room. Then there's a bedroom here, you know, for your horny teen to do what they have to do. Then there's this holodeck room, and this is very hilarious scene that takes place in the holodeck room where these two characters fighting against this really poorly constructed CG looking alien creature thing. And
Yeah.
then Jason shows up, and it take them so long to realize, oh, well, Jason actually real. Is when they actually had to kill the kind of digital doppelgangers, and then afterwards kill the real people afterwards. Like, oh well, yeah, he's real after all. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, where are these rooms? How big is this actual spaceship? I don't know. Please explain. You're not gonna explain. Okay, whatever, fine. There is one cool scene though with that holodeck room where they actually recreate the Camp Crystal Lake, the background.
Right. I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah, and it had this nice self-referential part where you had these two hot chicks who's talking about,
Yeah.
you know, it's all
Just to
how
trick,
it is. Yeah, we
to
got
trick him, yeah.
alcohol, we got pot, and we
Yeah.
love premarital sex. You know, that was a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
moment. And the way
And
how,
yeah, it
how
was
he
a
killed
nice,
them was
a nice
funny.
self-referential joke because the old joke was, well, he just killed promiscuous people there.
Yeah, so
Right.
like the second anybody having sex is like, and this is like the weirdest thing about the franchise as a whole. Maybe I just need to watch a few more movies and kind of analyze why. But I can never understand why you have a couple having sex. All of a sudden, it's
No,
like
it,
this comes up,
right.
and then he just goes and
I
kill them. Like, what's he going on? Like, I don't know if it's something to do with Jason. You know, when he was growing up with his mom.
No,
I don't know
right.
if they go for like a
I
normal
never right.
dates
I
kind
never
of
really
thing.
understood
I
the
don't know.
in-universe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I never understood the in-universe reasons for that. You know, you can make any kind of number of assumptions about Jason being sexually repressed or whatever. Nobody cares. Point is, you have to always punish sexually.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares, but you have to always punish sexually active people in horrors. That's the
Especially
running
in
joke.
the 80s, especially
In the 80s, right? Yeah, you're sexually active, you need to die. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank
Especially
you,
if you're a
John
woman.
Carpenter, for setting that up.
Yeah, exactly.
If Halloween didn't come out and lay the ground rules, yeah,
Right.
it would have that. But yeah, but I really need to watch these movies and really analyze why exactly he is so compelled to kill characters who are having premarital sex. It's
Pretty much.
just really weird. But yeah, overall though, I mean, yeah, the only way you could actually enjoy this film is if you're drunk, if you have nothing else to do on a Saturday night, or if you
Yeah.
have friends and you just want to see a bad movie. That's the only way I can recommend this, because I watched this film on a Saturday night and I had a blast. But I just couldn't help but watch this and be like, yeah, this was just so painfully mediocre. From the special effects to the
Yeah.
acting to even the kills to even Jason himself. And I forgot
Yeah.
to mention one last thing with regards to the whole TV movie aesthetic. The music, boy.
Bad.
The music is bad, but I mean bad as it sounds like it's from a TV movie. It sounds like some Lifetime original movie kind of music. And I was like, but dude, there's no tension to it. When there is tension, it's like this basic den 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 kind of thing. Is like, for a movie about Jason Voorhees from New Line Cinema, you gotta do the den, like this real corny music, Joe. Like, you don't do that, man. It just felt so light, so fluffy. You know what I mean? And you don't. It shouldn't be like that for a horror movie. You need to be tense, even bombastic. If it was bombastic and all over the place, okay, fine. But I mean, it's the 2000s. I was if I was expecting that, I wasn't expecting this kind of light, cheap ass music. But anyway, this really took me out in the movie quite a lot. But anyway, so if I had to give this a rating, boy, I'll give this a 1 out of 5, boy. Of course it sucked.
Yeah, no, this movie's a hot mess to me.
Yeah,
I
this
give
is
it
a hot mess.
I even though I didn't see it in Windsor, go see it in Windsor now if you could. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I saw
if
this
you
in
are
National when it came out.
Right. Even if you are a fan of this series, Jed, you cannot in good conscience defend this show. Well, I should say like this. Like, I know it have the fans out say, well, you know, maybe it was meant to be like that. It's just supposed to be cheesy fun. But, oh gosh, man, you had to have some skill into it. I mean, you have built this franchise, shockingly enough, over the course of 9 movies, right? And, well, 12 at the time of this recording here. I don't know if they're going to do a 13th one. I hear they was actually going to do a 13th one, and apparently it was going to be a found footage version of it. I don't know. I was expecting it was going to come out, this year, Friday 13th. But apparently we're getting some other film called Happy Death Day. But anyway. So 9 movies, and you happen to string along this franchise. You happen to beat this character, literally dead, and then bring him back. Dead, bring him back. Dead, bring him back. And to just do this here was just shameful, in my opinion. It's just like, kind of like spitting in the face of your fan base. But not like in a Michael Bay kind of way. More like, we really don't know what it is we want to do, like we really want to do Freddy versus Jason, but yeah, I like it not popping out yet. So So here's this throwaway idea. We're gonna replace Alien and we're gonna put sorry, not Freddy, oops. We're gonna put Jason Voorhees in place of the Xenomorph. Have fun.
Right.
And that's what it came off like. It just came off like this real cheap kind of cash grab thing on the franchise. You know what I mean? And yeah, it really doesn't hold up. I do imagine fans hating this thing. And I mean, if I have the few that do defend it, rock on. But still, yeah, kind of hard to do that. So 1 out of 5 for me. Of course, it sucked. But like I said, it still functions as one. Like, if you really have nothing else better to do on like a Saturday night, and you just like, or maybe you have friends and you just want to watch a bad movie and get drunk and have fun, then check it out. But other than that, though, yeah, I actually don't mind watching over the older films instead of this. Yeah, I do even mind watching over Freddy vs. Jason. I really don't care to see that movie again, but I'd prefer that over Jason X any day.
Right.
It did give us one little positive. Well, just one positive thing came out of it, I should say. Think of this basically like the Batman and Robin of the franchise. Like, if
Pretty
this
much,
did not
right.
happen, you would not have had Freddy vs. Jason. So
Right.
if Batman and Robin didn't happen, we wouldn't have Batman Begins. So technically, think about it like that. Even though Freddy vs. Jason, came out roughly like about a year after this one. Yeah, if it wasn't for this show sucking, you would not have had the, what Freddy vs. Jason was, which I could tell because I haven't seen it in a long while. But I imagine that they were trying to go for, yes, we want to be scary, but we want to have fun with it, and we want to be cheesy, and we want to, we want to be kind of funny and self-referential at the same time. But here they tried it, and it just failed on this miserable, monumentally miserable, I should say, note. So yeah, that's
Right.
all I have to say about Jason X. The 10th film in the franchise, probably the most forgettable entry in this whole franchise. So yeah, skip this one.
Yeah. It's just it supposedly was a classic in its time, but yeah, it didn't work at all. So
Yeah.